Welcome back. Well, coming up on January 7th at Clubhouse 7, concerned citizens will be having their meeting, and we have a guest from that club today, Jules Zalon. And welcome. And the first question I have to ask, because I didn't see it on the notes that you sent me, is what time is the meeting?
The meeting is at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Clubhouse 7.
So 777, January 7th?
777, yes.
Okay, very good. I wanted to make sure I asked that because I didn't see that information there. So, tell us about the guests that you're going to be having, the guest speaker.
Our guest is going to be Vic Gazelle, who is the former young criminal district attorney of McLennan County, Texas. He's the young fellow who blew the top off the hoax of the legendary Texas Rangers to have captured the greatest serial killer in history, Henry Lee Lucas, who claimed ultimately to have killed 600 people. Vic himself is a featured role on the recent, just released Netflix documentary, The Confession Killers. His story is something that's really, it's a great morality play. It's a story about really what happens when people in really great positions of power who think they're untouchable are suddenly embarrassed.
So when did this take place?
This took place all in and around Waco, Texas in the mid-1980s.
Okay, all right.
Henry had been, Vic himself was a brand new, very young criminal district attorney. He gets a telephone call from the Texas Rangers, and they say, we have 3 confessions from Henry Lee Lucas, and we can bring him down, and you can get some free publicity. And he says, hey, this is really terrific.
Yeah.
But didn't exactly go the way they expected. They offered him these confessions. They sent Vic down the information. Henry Lee Lucas is a really strange character. He was a drifter who was picked up on a weapons charge, thrown into jail by a sheriff in Montague County, Texas, called Hound Dog Conway. And the guy decided to, pin a murder rap on him. So he threw him into an unheated jail cell. He tortured him, he starved him, and eventually Henry confessed to two murders, an old lady and somebody called Orange Socks, whose naked body was found in a culvert off of I-35 in Texas. And she was only wearing orange socks. Well, apparently thinking his goose was cooked, Henry suddenly blurts out, well, what about the other 100 people I killed? And you could see on this documentary, because this is recorded, the judge goes, whoa, like that. And they immediately bundled him off to Georgetown, which is the headquarters of the Texas Rangers. And they create this Henry Lee Lucas task force. But it's like no task force you've ever seen. It was really more like a clearinghouse. They advertised to police departments all over the country that if you have any unsolved murders, get a hold of us and we'll ask Henry. And police departments came, they lined up almost out the door like you're lining up for a good movie.
And so this guy confessed to all these?
He confessed to all of them, and the procedure was the same. They would come in and they would show him the records and they would show him all the records, whatever they had. And then they'd turn on the recorder and he would regurgitate it all back. The problem was Vic was about to indict somebody else for one of the murders. And so he became suspicious, and he bench warranted Henry to Waco, and he started an investigation. And he sends his top investigator, a guy named Goldberg, down to the basement where they're holding Henry. And Goldberg goes over to me and he says, hey, Henry, it says here that, you're in Montague County this day. We know you're in Jacksonville because we have your employment records and you cashed a check that day. And we have, right? And he kept going on like this. He says, Henry, what's going on? And the dim-witted guy is just sort of a little gap-toothed smile, and he says, I'm wondering whether someone was going to get wise. And he starts to sing.
So he was just making all this up
He
for
had
himself.
made it, well, you know.
Why would he do it?
He did it because, you know, he only had an 85 or 86 IQ, but he was no dope. And he knew he was, you know, he was facing, you know, the death chamber.
Yeah.
Because this is Texas.
Right.
You get convicted of capital murder, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And he figured out a way of at least pushing, staving it off by confessing.
Huh. Basically confessing to so many different cases that would have gone on and on and on for years.
He just kept him going. What they did was, listen, they treated this guy royally.
Yeah.
He had a carpeted jail cell.
Wow.
His cell wasn't locked. He had the run of the place. He had a colored television set. Every time he confessed, they gave him a strawberry milkshake and a cheeseburger. he was living a, you know.
So the guest speaker you're going to be having, Vic Gazelle. Now he was the one who finally figured out. Wait a second, this just doesn't sound right to me.
Oh, absolutely. And let me tell you, the Texas Rangers did not like it. The guy who was in charge of the Texas Rangers at the time, a guy named Jim Adams, had been #2 at the FBI. Just around the time that the FBI was facing this horrible scandal because it turns out that they had committed hundreds of illegal break-ins. They had taped a bunch of you know, illegally tapped phones. Martin Luther King, LBJ. That's the reason why J. Edgar Hoover was untouchable. Yeah. He knew everything about everybody.
Yes. So Vic is going to talk about all this time, and did you say? I think he's part of the. Was it the Netflix special? Did you say?
He's on the next. Okay. He's featured on. He's featured on the Netflix special.
Okay. So people can look for it there.
Yeah, it's really a terrific story.
Yeah,
I mean, what Adams did to Gazelle was really quite remarkable. They, I mean, suddenly there was basically he said, "Give us back Henry and get rid of your own investigation, or we're going to get you." And Vic didn't, and he did. I mean, they blanketed Waco with all kinds of disreputable, you know, disparaging flyers that were on everybody's car. They tapped his phone. They stole his garbage. They killed his dog. Gee. They eventually had an investigative hit job, an 11-segment hit job of an investigative report by a guy named Charles Duncan from WFAA, and it happened just before his re-election. He was still re-elected. Yeah. He won acquittal and ultimately a $58 million defamation judgment against FAA. That's the largest one in history, even today, 30 some odd years later. But it's a terrific story because what it really shows is people that have power and no real control, or no, you know, if you don't have the ability to hold these people back, they can get away with, listen, we have problems, we have a similar problem here, I mean, not mean, but a problem in Laguna Woods. Somebody was just recently convicted in absentia without even notice.
Yeah, well, we don't want to get into that right now. So,
you know about that.
So I do want to remind people that, again, very easy, 777. January 7th at Clubhouse 7 at 7 o'clock. Anyone can show up? Or
anyone can show up, and there's going to be a lot of people there because it's he's got quite a hell of a story to tell.
All right, very good. Good to see you, Jules, and we'll be back.
Okay.